sitting here.
Man.
You ready?
It started 3 seconds ago.
Oh, we're rolling.
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerable.
I hate it when we skip a week.
I do too. You feel like you're out of the groove, right?
Huh?
You feel like I feel like I miss it. It's like kind of what I look forward to.
But
And
it's unfortunately, it's life. I mean,
Yeah.
crap comes up and
you were busy on Wednesday. I was busy on Thursday.
I mean, it was my mother-in-law's birthday, and she was cooking on her birthday for us. I mean, it's like, are you sure you're cooking?
He said, I'll talk to Lisa to see if I can.
I said,
you never said it was your.
I said, this podcast is pretty important. I can get out of this if I need to. And you go, I think you should probably go.
Yeah, I just saw that. I didn't know it was your mother-in-law's birthday, or I definitely would have been like, Joel, don't ask that question. That's not it. Did you ask, or did you just decide not to?
I never even asked.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Good
I've gotten
decision.
a little wiser in my days.
There you go. You're like, if I need to, I'll just cancel it and we won't go. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. I know how that goes.
And then any other day, and you said, well, I got a birthday tomorrow, and
yeah,
so, yeah.
We had a surprise birthday party for a gentleman that lives in our neighborhood, 86 years old.
86.
And he goes to all the local bars and he still hangs out. And
hell yeah,
he was at the Indian Lake Brewing Company, and I bet 100 people, 75, 100 people were there for a surprise birthday party. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Kicking at 86.
I mean, when you're 86, yeah, you celebrate them birthdays.
So I wanted to.
And then Chris is always busy because he's house hunting.
He is house hunting.
He is house hunting right there.
It's been a joy.
Be sure and put the camera on you when you're talking about house hunting.
Enjoying life. So, Chris, I think you should ask Joel your question that you said in the truck. I think you should kind of start, because I think that kind of
starting with a question,
because I think Joel wants to talk about the past, the past, and you want to talk.
Yeah,
about...
I think we're wanting to talk about the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess the number one thing I have is, obviously you're an outfitter. You've been in the business.
Yep.
This year hasn't started yet. For say you haven't had any customers yet. What's your projections, do you think, for the next 3 years to 5 years for like the outfitting business?
I mean,
is it year by year? Do you just go year by year and hope, or
are you asking about him specifically, or are you asking about?
Are you talking about client wise?
I guess
what wise?
I guess it could be a two-part question: client wise first, and then deer projections.
About the past 10 years, I have I never book out in advance. I basically, once it kind of almost become a club, I give the people that hunt here first dibs. I mean, so when they leave here, I just assume they're coming back. And for the most part, if somebody, maybe turn me up just a little bit. There you go. If they, a lot of people that hunt with me are in their 50s and 60s, and everybody has tag draws everywhere, be it New Mexico or Montana or Nevada. So sometimes their hunt might be dependent upon if they draw tags or something. But for the most part, if somebody draws a tag, they're pretty good about they'll just send somebody in their spot. Or
they know
whatever.
Enough people.
Yeah, they know somebody, and somebody just sends somebody. But deer, property-wise, it's hard. I mean, it's hard out there because, you build relationships with all the properties that you currently hunt. And I've lost a property or two just because of the people are old and sell, and, you end up losing that relationship. And now just kind of being my own worst enemy of the area, everything's leased up, or somebody hunts about every little parcel that there is. And so I think I'm going to, instead of offering money, I think I'm going to, I do lots of work in the off season between, plumbing, heating, air.
Building decks.
Everything. I catch moles. I kill coons. I think I'm going to be more into a bartering system from now on, like go that avenue.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea because I mean,
everybody needs something done to your home.
Yes.
I mean,
think about like you said.
I mean, I'm the worst. I do I've lived in my home for 20 or 25 years, and I take care of everybody else's, and then it just gets to the point where this needs replaced, this needs
Right.
replaced, this needs replaced. So, I think that's going to be an approach going into the future. Just saying, and then I'm going to look into it. But if there is no exchange of money, I think there's no need for the liability, them worrying about liability. There's no exchange of money. So the liability part of it.
You think that's how that works? Maybe. Yeah. But I mean, what happens if like somebody, I don't know.
Because so if you just go get permission from a place from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, whenever you sign, they just do a written permission slip.
Yep.
I think that
there's no liability.
No suspect of liability.
Right. I mean, it says that right there. That's one of the
Correct.
incentives to the landowner,
Correct.
right?
Yes. So, but whenever there's money exchanged is when, that's when I think the liability thing comes into play, which, I carry liability insurance and stuff, but
So you would probably just have to have whoever's hunting that property
have written permission,
sign a slip.
sign a slip or something of that nature.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm just saying that, I think we talked about this a little bit. It's more about, it's 2025. I kind of come to the conclusion that people really don't care so much about money. It's more about the relationship and that part of it.
Well, and that was my point about we were talking about this on the way here. Your friend, Mike's son,
Isaac.
Gosh,
Isaac.
I should always. He sent out
105, I think.
105 letters, and he got one that said yes, and hopefully Isaac's not mad about me saying this, but they said yes because he is going to help them cut down some trees or something like that. I don't know. I'm secondhand information from Chris, but that's exactly, older couple that just needed some help, and they said, yeah, we need help with the fence or whatever he's doing. But if you think about the day and age of like what you just told me about the deck and what they quoted for that deck, are you gonna, if it's a 200-acre property,
Right,
are you gonna build a deck in 2 weeks?
Correct. Yes, yeah. I'm saying that.
But do you have to do that every year, though? I never thought.
Yeah, I'm staining that son of a bitch every year or doing something. Yeah.
No, I think that's and it doesn't have to be something. Maybe somebody doesn't want that.
Because farmers hate raccoons.
Yeah.
I'll go in a farm that we're hunting or whatever. There'll be 15 or 20 rows gone. They think it's deer, but it's raccoon. It's raccoons, man.
Is there a way
Nobody traps them no more.
Is there a way to tell the difference between what a deer does and what a raccoon does? As far as
raccoon knocks it down.
They are the ones that tear it down.
They're the ones that tear it down.
Deer just rips it right off.
Correct.
Yeah.
So one farm that I have that we killed a dozen does between two farms or whatever, but still you go in there and when it's about 3 or 4 feet tall, the deer will bite the leaf off at that milky thing, and then the leaves will be laying on the ground, and then that stalk's done.
Okay.
So there'll be 20 yards down the whole thing is stunted that high.
Yeah.
And it's because the deer bit the leaf off at that milky stage when it was first coming up, and that's what the deer does.
I knew younger me hunting, I always thought coming across like the big knockdown areas in the cornfield, I thought, oh, that's deer.
Coons. And
found out
squirrels will knock the things down too. Yeah, squirrels, but mainly raccoons.
I figured that out, later in hunting life that's not raccoons, that's deer. Or I'm sorry, that's not deer, that's raccoons. Yeah.
You can have, if I buy an acre of standing corn or 3/4 of an acre of standing corn, it can be the end of the season, end of January, February, and you walk out there and you think it's not touched. Like it's all still standing or whatever, and you go up and every ear is gone.
Oh, really?
They eat it right off. They eat it right off the and doesn't even look like it's touched. But
so back to Chris's question, I don't know if he's thinking about it as deep as I was thinking about it, but what do you think the future of outfitting is as a whole? Do you see the future of outfitting changing over the next 5, 10, 15 years?
that's a good question.
And he asked me that in the truck, but he didn't ask. I think that's what he meant by the two-part.
I will say that I would say that the need or the need or the want from people will be greater, but yet the people that can provide it may go down.
It's going to be harder.
Yes. I mean, let's face it, to come to Ohio and hunt from an out-of-stater, and whitetail is still whitetail is still about the most prized thing in the country,
Oh, yeah.
I would say that is, because if you find an elk or if you find it, you can kill it, Whitetail is different. I mean,
Yeah.
a whitetail is a hard animal to hunt, and whitetail is still an economical deer or an economical animal that people can hunt, whereas elk, bighorn sheep, all the other West animals have about priced out of the average guy going and doing it.
What is it?
I mean, in New Mexico, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would go to Unit 10, and I could get a $2,000 landowner tag, and now people eat them landowner tags up, and you can't even get a tag for under 5 or 6 or 7, And these are just mediocre places. Yes. If you're going to good units, you're talking $10,000 for a.
Are they allowed to buy and resell the?
Yes.
They are?
So people will, but the IRS is caught up with it, and they have, I think, in New Mexico made it that each change of hands, it's getting taxed. These people are paying taxes. But yes, you can, like, private individuals can go to the landowners and eat them up and offer them big money, and then they can resell them.
This is going to be a really kind of silly. I know we probably don't have that because they're so limited on the amount that they sell. They're not selling out of state licenses. That's why they're going to landowners and buying them.
So
I don't understand.
So in New Mexico elk hunting, it's a landowner is given X amount of tags for their property.
Oh.
And so if you own a 20,000 acre ranch, or if you own, and then you can buy a tag that is for that piece of property only, or it can be for unit wide. So in other words, if you buy a tag for unit 10 or unit 13 or unit 15, you want to buy a unit wide tag. You don't want to, I mean, trust me, it's hard to go out on a 5,000 or 10,000 acre ranch and have a ranch specific tag, because when an elk spooks or you bump some elk, they just don't go over the other side of the ranch. They leave the count,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of, if you just have a ranch specific tag, that makes it tough.
But you're hunting people's land.
Correct. You're hunting people's land there.
So you have to get
permit. But if I would get a unit, so then that is basically 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. That is basically when I started using OnX and everything. And
you were just door knocking in unit 10?
No. I would have a unit 10 wide, unit 10 I could hunt, but on the app I would have the New Mexico app, and I would see all the public land.
Okay.
So basically, yes, you're hunting public land.
Okay.
And you knew all the boundaries, and because there were times where a ranch might just run its fence right straight through, and actually that ranch part of the public land would go into that ranch's fence and everything.
Okay.
And so it was very crucial having that.
That's
having
unique.
Those boundaries and everything.
That's unique. I don't know anything about that.
But so back to the, so I think that the need for whitetail hunting will still be there. It's just finding somebody reputable that's not cranking through a gazillion numbers, and I don't think it's going nowhere. No, I mean,
We've talked about this. I think the amount of hunters are slightly going down, and I think the spend of hunters is going astronomically up. Where a hunter used to spend, let's say 1,000. I'm just making a number up. You spend $1,000 a year 10 years ago. Now they spend $2,000 or $3,000 a year. The spend's going up. The hunters are going down. So like I think for like outfitters or whatever,
It's
guys.
crazy between a bow and your clothing and I mean, what when the people roll in here, what the amount of money that's in their truck
That they've
between
spent
their
on.
optics,
Yeah,
their art, their bow,
and your fee
and the hunt.
and the hunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, people, yeah.
So
On this topic, like you have hunters that's been here for 20 plus years. Have you seen a change in their ability to hunt? Like, are they getting better, or is it
So
plateaued?
no. So here's
question.
what I will say. So I will get groups. So I have a group of Asheville, North Carolina, several App State guys, and they're all professional. And one's a CPA, one's a realtor. They all do different stuff. And I mean, when they came here and they wanted a camp, they wanted a week, and there's a group of them, and
all friends.
and they just wanted a place to call home and hunt, and they were all relatively new greenhorns.
They never.
They had bow hunted some, but I'm going to say none of them more than 2-3 years or whatever. So basically, they came here with the mentality of learning. So they wanted to learn, and so I think people that have hunted with me, I think they come here whenever. So if I have two people in the truck with me, and we pull out of the drive, it's kind of a morning tutorial while we drive. So it's just constant questions, answers, and I mean,
Have you seen the
I mean, I
skill
have
getting better?
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
there's no doubt. I mean, as far as the calling of a deer, or I mean, I've had Jeffrey Smith, who's hunted here a long time. He shot 2 or 3 bad shots before he oh, you're supposed to stop him.
Yeah.
And
Well, if if you don't know, you don't know, right?
So yeah, so just that's a real big thing. If they are here during November and rut, where you have to use some vocalization,
Going back to the group that came here, the group that wanted to learn, did they ever come back again?
Oh,
They're still part
every year.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they
Yeah.
were. Do they
They're
also?
now about year 5 or 6.
Okay, and they still.
And then I connected them with this Bern Jones. He's a 74, 75-year-old man from Arizona. Bern, he sleeps in the mornings. He only hunts in the evenings. And it's like now I'm in a group text with those 5 people, and Bern part of their group. And I mean, Bern just nonstop, funny text and funny. So
Yeah.
it's like a group now
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they picked up Bern, they adopted Bern in the group,
Bern's adopted in their group. Yes, he is.
and they're all from North Carolina.
And Bern's Arizona, and the rest of them is from Asheville, North Carolina.
And so that first year they came, what did they think of? Like, I'm guessing that's the first time they'd ever hunted out of North Carolina. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they had gone. So they elk hunt or 2 or 3 of them elk hunt every year, and then they just wanted another place to all come together. And so now this is their whitetail hunt every year, and I think
That's
they have
awesome.
like a camp and that they hunt there, and then they hunt here.
Do they kill over the last however many years? Have they taken some nice deer here?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, they get excited?
It's good. It's exciting.
What's their week usually?
So I did a swap over between they were the end of October, and another group was like the second week in November from Florida. And sometime the older Floridians, the second week in November was a little colder than their liking. So I did a switch between the two, and I think it's worked out. Yeah, I think it's worked out good.
So they're hunting November
The Asheville group is hunting the second week of November.
because the second week of November was too cold for the Floridians.
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
Dude, I mean, it would be 50s, and they would have packs of hand warmers and body warmers and everything.
I'm like wearing a long sleeve mesh shirt. I love that.
Yeah.
That's like perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. So, how many other outfitters do you know personally that you respect and have an outfitting business, whether it's in Ohio or in the United States?
I mean, so I have shared lots of hunters with a couple like Rob Scott, which
Yeah.
is Buckhorn Outfitters from Illinois.
Yep.
He's almost become a club as well. I sent lots of my people to him who were looking for, some people that were here, then they become kind of good whitetail hunters, become more avid at it, and they want to add another state to go
Yep.
hunt. So I sent several to Rob Scott, and then dang it, we need to pause. And then Sean Evans,
Okay.
and
I
in
do
Kansas.
that. I do that sometimes.
Sean
Get
Evans, and I went blank.
Yeah.
Who is a very good friend from Kansas, and I sent lots of people his direction.
Do they? When's the last time Rob's been here to Ohio? Been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
He has no
The
re-
problem is Rob's a little younger than me, and he has kids that are through that teenager to high school stage. So Rob is me 10 years ago. Rob's coaching travel softball, travel baseball, and just his life's busy.
God,
So,
I'd love to have Rob.
oh,
Wouldn't that be fun?
yeah. Rob and Sean Evans. That would be a good podcast.
Maybe we can send Rob or Sean a computer.
Sean is he's around Russell, Kansas, and not a whole lot there. I mean, not a lot of trees, not a lot of. But Sean is, he's a stage of his life where he's now has I think a couple grandbabies maybe, and him and his wife were touring. They were making their rounds around the United States, and he wanted to be in every major league ballpark.
Oh, that was his
kinda
goal.
They wanted to see a baseball game in every major league ballpark.
And is he still doing the outfitting business?
And he's still,
Is he?
he's still doing the
as
outfitting
big as
thing.
he's always been, or is he dialed
So
back?
he kind of went the same route that I did. So I think Sean used to be basically just Sean's an oil guy. He has several pumps that then he had a company that would clean them. So he would buy ran down well pumps. His company would clean. So if somebody may have sold it and because it wasn't producing, he would
Yep.
buy it, clean it. Something that may be producing 2 barrels a day, then it might make 14 barrels a day after he cleans it. So he has a company that would clean them, and he did really well. And good dude. But he took a few rifle people, and then he kind of wanted to go the bow route and take less rifle people, and so he started taking some bow hunters. And then I hooked him up. Well, I'm not saying that I hooked him up, but then he started doing the Jimmy John thing,
Yep.
and I think he did that for a few years. And
When
then
you say the Jimmy John thing, what's the Jimmy John thing?
I think that he kind of probably like bought them out, and then he exclusively took care of them.
The Jimmy John group.
Yeah, exclusively took care of them, and he's now no longer doing that, and I think just back to taking
People.
customers and stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, when we went out to Rob's, we stayed where we stayed. Does he have a lodge?
So I honestly just want to go to Rob's and not hunt and just hang out, visit, and because he has built something similar
Like
to
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we went, it was just,
He just had a older building and a trailer.
yeah,
And since then, I think the trailer's gone. I don't know if both things are gone, but he has built something similar to this, and I kind of think that like several of the people that hunt with them, they may have all gone in on it and
Okay.
done. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, yep. So I have not seen it or anything. So.
We've talked about doing the computer and stuff, and we should do that. And like I could send Rob a computer, and maybe we could do him like get him on this virtually.
So
I would love to get Rob.
oh man, he's just a good old boy.
God, he's so much
Yeah.
fun. He was one of those people, you know, you meet one of those people and they're just kind of impactful to
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's one. Sean, I have a great big parking lot here and everything with the lodge, and I think he has a big fifth wheel. And I said, dude, you can more than welcome to this be your home base for the Reds in Cleveland. You know, I'm kind of right in between the two of them.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, and I haven't heard if they're this way yet or what they're doing. So
God, I would love to get another one of those two guys to kind of talk.
It'd be good.
Your world versus their world and the crossover. I would probably just jump over there and let you guys do it at that point, because I'm sure you guys would have plenty to talk about.
It's Kansas is different. You know, Kansas is different than here.
How many
hunting-wise.
deer have you killed in Kansas?
I think 3.
3 deer.
Yeah, 3
And
in Kansas.
it's a lot of plains.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of trees. You know, basically cottonwood trees along creek bottoms and river bottoms. And
Is it easier or harder to hunt in Kansas?
so, I think it's a little easier. I mean, they definitely come
easier?
to corn.
Yeah.
I mean, he corns a lot. They come to corn, you know, because
Gotcha.
there isn't a lot of corn.
Yeah.
So
I was
they
just
come
thinking
to corn.
if there's not a lot of terrain, I didn't know if they naturally
So you
funnel.
basically get up a giant cottonwood tree, and you're like, where in the hell is a deer going to be at or come from? And then all of a sudden, boom, there they are. They just start appearing and stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's pretty cool.
So before I get too far, I told Chris I actually wanted to do it tonight, and he backed out on me. I said one of these days I want to run that camera and just bring Chris over and be our third person. And he's like, "Oh, I like it over here in my home."
This is my realm.
That's his realm.
Yeah.
He's closer to the bush
Beer-
lattes.
Yeah, the bush.
Yeah, I can get up whenever I want.
So
That's good. I like that. I mean, that's good stuff there about the, where I really haven't thought much about where it's going to. I guess it's changed a lot over 25 years, that's for sure. So I really don't know where it's going to.
And we're going to get into that.
But I mean, Rick said it last podcast. I mean, you think, where the hell where's a big deer going to come from? A big deer, and then boom, there they are every year. I mean,
he said that off camera. I think he said that off camera. He said he looks at his room every year and he goes,
"There's 7 200-inchers line from the previous year. How can this next year be
that good?" And then he's like, "Next year they're that much bigger. They're that big again." And he's like, "Where do they keep coming from?"
But then another spinoff. So, podcast always drops on Thursday morning, and Thursday afternoon I'm working, and I get a text, and I don't recognize it. The number's not saved in my phone, and it was Brian Stevens saying how awesome the podcast was.
Yeah.
Like Rick must have gave him my number, and then I was going to tell you earlier, he sent a picture because that the person in Rhett, whatever his name was, in Minnesota, he drove the antlers to the replica place.
Okay.
He drove them there. So
Brian did.
Brian Stevens drove, and he had a picture of the deer he was taking there, and like it was Ron Lance's, it was my other 200, and it was Stan Potts's. He had like 3 deer from here, and his he drove all of them up there.
Oh, I didn't know.
I did not know that.
That was all the same.
He sent a picture of them all lined up in one picture.
Were those all the same?
Must have been all within the
same couple years, or
same year or 2 years. Yes.
Wow. Does that? I mean,
He had 4, so it must have been Ron Lance's first or second 200, mine, and Stan. They must have all been like he had boom, 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 boom picture of all of them that he drove to Minnesota.
For people who don't know, who is Ron Lance?
So Ron has hunted with me from the beginning, 20 or 25 years, I would say. And Rick Bussey, I think he was a customer of Rick Bussey, and Rick Bussey hooked me up with Ron Lance, and we have now been great friends. We've gone on a moose hunt together in the Yukon Territory, and he's hunted with me for 20 some years.
What is he? Are you allowed to say what he does for a living?
He's retired now.
He's retired?
He has 2 daughters, and on Facebook I see him sharing pictures of grandbabies swimming in his pool and
Nice.
everything. And Ron was like a pharmaceutical salesman, and
Cool.
yeah,
Right
yep.
on.
And Ron lives in Ohio. Yep. Ron
Okay.
lives in
Yep,
Ohio.
I remember that.
Yep. So, and we're gonna
Get Ron on.
Ron's gonna be on with a couple of his kills. We won't go into
I'll be
details.
excited. Somebody that's been with you that long, it'll be fun to hear their perspective of the way things were, the way things are now, and then the stories that they have in between.
I mean, I would love to have, between the deer camps and people that have been meaningful to me and my business, have some of them people come on and tell their stories
Yes.
and what they did for their life, and
those are going to be the best. Those are going to be the best episodes.
and them have some of their good deer that they've killed here and everything. Bring a couple good ones.
So what happens to, because I don't know of any, maybe young people don't become outfitters, but what do you think happens to outfitting businesses at the end of their, like Kansas or Rob, or what happens to these business or your business? What is the plan? Is there a plan? I mean, have you guys ever talked about that ever?
No.
I
Never
mean,
talked about that ever.
It just seems like one of these things that once it's over, the lights out.
I mean, I would say Rob's will probably, I would say, always be like a club type thing. And I could see as he gets older, he has a boy, and
He does.
yeah,
Okay, he does have a boy.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yep.
And Sean was
and Sean has a son.
in Kansas.
Yep, in Kansas.
How old is Sean?
I'm gonna say that he's definitely younger than me. I'm gonna say Sean might be 50.
Might be 50.
If I was to guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say Sean might be 50.
Did you know our grandpa has a oil well on his property?
No.
Yeah, there's.
I think you have mentioned that one time.
I think there's a lot of people don't realize on that side of the lake. There's I think there's a row of 13 of them. There's a shell that runs.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's kind of odd to have that in
Wow.
Ohio. I think there's some in eastern Ohio, but there's not. That's kind of rare for here. But yeah, when you said that.
And then, another good customer that hunts with me from Pennsylvania, Lenny, he has a company and he makes, so basically a truck chassis will come to him and he makes the tankers that sit on them that pump. So other words, if it's a 2-tank system, there'll be crap that needs pumped, and
Yep.
and
he
he makes the pump trucks.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's when the business started changing. I know with Sean, and the EPA is very involved with that. So other words, what do you do with that is pumped out of the
sludge?
So he would have old wells that he would dump the sludge, and then
Yeah.
I think the EPA started getting involved with that. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't have to get into
No,
that.
we
but
don't.
I was going to ask, so going back in the past, something, I think we come loose. I think you might have to.
Check.
You
Am I
okay?
good? I'm good.
No, you're
Yep.
good. I think it just dropped. Going back on the outfitting business, I'm glad that before we talked, you're like, yeah, I want to talk about the past. We wanted to talk about the future. So I think it worked out really
Yeah.
well. What has the business look like, or how has your business changed from when you started it? The weeks that you hunt, the seasons that you hunt.
So that was, lots of times whenever we get together, we don't know what we're going to talk about when the thing starts.
Right.
So
We
but
talk
I
about it a
kinda
little bit.
had, how things, because, well, number one, I take X amount of people to pay the bills and so, so now it's broken into, I hunt 10 weeks out of the season, and you want to hunt the best 10 weeks that I think I can provide for those people. I want it that when they come, that it's not stressful and tough hunting for me. I mean, granted, you can never guess the weather, but so definitely my season has the 10 weeks, the weeks that I hunt has changed over the 25 years, be it in my ability to hunt those weeks, be it my other job, or the way my thinking has changed on what I think are better weeks to hunt. So you follow me?
Yes.
I mean, in the beginning, when I had my plumbing and heating company, and I was just like, through my 20s and everything, everybody wanted to hunt November and hunt the rut. I mean, whenever I worked, had my plumbing and heating company, I wouldn't hop in a tree till November 7th, November 8th, that's the dates everybody thinks that you want to be in the woods. And,
Right.
And then as things started changing, with the deer that I was after and stuff. And, I mean, I didn't hunt the rut, but, through my 20s, 3, 4, 5 years, I may have rut hunted. And then once it became your business, I personally wasn't able to rut hunt anymore. Not very much.
What did you hunt? Early season or late season?
Once it got to be, I had my plumbing and heating and doing this business, I was basically just late season hunted.
Just late
That was
season
it.
hunted.
I just late season hunted.
And at that time, were you just taking people during the rut?
Yes, I mean, with my plumbing and heating company, in the very beginning, I was bow hunting only.
Yeah.
I only took bow hunters, and I didn't start up till the end of October. And then, then you realized when you're trying to make a living at this, and there are people that don't bow hunt, so you have to take some gun hunters.
Yeah.
But we gun hunted just like we were bow hunting.
Yes.
We would just be in a tree, tree just like we're bow hunting, and then so I know at some point I decided to. I think I had gone down and hunted Kentucky some on the opener, and I'm like, I think this opener thing might be okay. So then I tried the opener. I think I took 2 people, 3 people, and was very successful on the opener. But I can remember.
I think that needs a little tightening.
I can remember. Then you're successful and you want to take 4 people or 5 people on the opener, and then that was a big.
Yeah.
You basically just take a couple people, and because there aren't a lot of good deer you're pursuing at that time, and you want to have some options for the people you have here. So like this year, I take 3. There's 3. I take 3 people for the opener.
I'm guessing just because the deer are
not as. You have,
5 targets for 3 hunters.
Yeah, something like that.
Depending on what's happening
5 or
with
6
those.
targets. And if you're after a really, really good one, and you're here for 5 or 6, and they're here for 5 or 6 days, hopefully and things might not be right, and you might not even hunt that deer. You might not even hunt that deer that day.
Yeah.
You might wait for this day, and then hopefully, I'm very easy with them, and hopefully their schedule is, and they can stay an extra day or 2 or whatever. So
yeah. The style of hunting, I think I've asked this before, but like that early season, what does that look like?
I mean, we're evenings, we're evenings only.
But are you on bean fields, or are you on food plots, or
I mean, it's kind of, we might fling a little corn, we might fling a little corn and some alfalfa. We might, what's tough is if acorns start falling at that time, that makes it tough. Because we're September 27th this year, I think. It's always nice if there is a bean field that still has some green in it and some nooks and crannies and stuff. And I mean, it's not like you're, have hung a stand that you hung, a year ago in your
Yeah.
hunting. You're basically almost hanging in hunting situations and stuff. And, yeah, water, hunting
Yeah.
water, beans, alfalfa, green.
On the edges.
Yeah,
You're on the
and
edges.
pretty much on edges, and like it that if he don't show, you get the hell, you get the
Yeah.
heck out of there.
Yep.
So
Yep. So with Chris's new spot that he picked up, that you
Yep.
know where it's at,
Yep.
I have a question about kind of those areas when you're early season like that, and you're in. Or how far do you think those bucks are from where you hung?
They're
that
not
stand?
far.
Like, I mean, that's kind of like he was going to go and put a camera up last night, and he saw a buck crossing the field, and I said, don't go. I said, watch where he goes, and then wait, and then you're going to have to go early. You're going to have to go 4 or 5 hours before sunset to set that, right? Because he can be.
I mean, the problem is so at that time of year when we're hunting, you think I might have observatory stands and I'm watching and watching and watching, but the beans are standing, the corn is standing, so they might be in the standing corn. They might be, we'll be hunting and boop, he stands up out in the standing beans, or it's tough.
So from in general, where you guys are hunting, do you think that deer's within 500 yards of that
Oh
stand?
yeah, closer than that.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
I was thinking
He's
in my
not
head,
far.
200-300
Yeah,
yards. So
I'd say that's a good guesstimation.
yeah, just as long as
He's not
there's
coming from very far.
just as long as there's water, cover, and food. That's that opening. You're in tight.
You're in tight.
And you guys,
Then you hope that they're still kind of, relaxed, and but they know, they know.
right?
Yeah, they know. But roughly, so if they rub out here, September the 5th through the 14th, somewhere through there, typically. So you just hope that he rubs out and he's still there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes they rub out and they're
gone.
no longer there. Yeah.
The I was going to ask about the getting to. Are you guys still once again you're on four-wheelers, you're on trucks, you're trying to get in.
We're not trying to walk around a
You're
whole
not
lot. I
walking
mean,
around
it might be a corn. I've knocked all the leaves off, and so we can walk down one row of standing corn to a stand, or
You'll literally go down that.
I might go 100 yards and knock all the leaves off,
so you can walk quietly.
so we
concealed.
can walk quietly down that row.
That's dedication. I love that. I love hearing those little.
Yeah.
tidbits from you when you say those things.
Yeah. Or step down in a creek and
Walk the creek.
100 yards out in a creek, or different stuff like that.
How many times has something happened where you're that opening weekend and you're pulling back, and all of a sudden he stands up, or something happens that you see him and they're gone? The
worst is, I think 2 years ago after a giant, and he stepped out at 70, and and the person watched him for 15 or 20 minutes, and then he's now about 80 or 90 yards in the beans, and as it's getting dark, he just lays down right in front, in front of him.
So did you drive
at 90 yards? There was no driving. This was standing beans, and there was no. This was basically down in a waterway. Would walk a waterway out, and he basically got down. Instead, he took 2 steps, and he heard crashing through the beans.
that far with 90? That's kind of surprising, right?
Yeah,
Is that normal?
I don't know how quiet the person was.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
So
a lot goes into that one. That one chance.
Yeah, and then that's probably it for that deer.
That was it for that
he's
deer.
Not,
that deer, we were done then with him.
We were talking about that real tree, or somebody did that study for like 10 years or something in Pennsylvania. Do you remember that? We talked about that.
Yes.
I can't remember why we brought that up.
Like a 10-year study on.
They said the deer movement in whatever, I think it was in Pennsylvania,
I'm pretty sure it was Pennsylvania.
whatever state that was, the day that opening season happened and the people went into the woods, because that was going to be my
Dude,
question.
most people that are going to hunt the opener, they're doing their work 2 or 3 days before that.
Yeah.
So
And they're
the
not
deer. There's all of a sudden there's activity.
right.
I mean,
And it's not even probably the right. It's not. I'm not trying to talk negative, but I'm guessing they're not in the right position.
So I mean, I have to take that into consideration. So if I'm hunting a giant deer, but he's coming off a property that is probably there's a chance somebody's going to be hunting or whatever, and then he's regular, and then all of a sudden
He's
he's
not.
not.
Then there's an
It's
issue.
because somebody's. I got several situations like that where I have a productive stand, but now there is some that I would be hunting on a southwest wind, but now there's somebody fucking me with a southwest wind on a neighboring property, and
Right. And I mean,
that's
there's no have you ever in the opening weekend, have you ever gone is there ever a reason to go in off the edges? Have you ever?
No.
Yep. So I guess my point is most people
we're not going in and hunting oak shed or anything. No.
Right. So I think people, I was going to talk about that Pennsylvania. They said that like it was that, that day or like 2 days before, like you said, it was like deer, literally they could see the deer change their habits because, people are just trudging in. Like if they have a tree stand 100 yards, 300 yards into the woods, they're going to go in and hunt it, even though why are you going in and hunting that? Right. So I'm sure there's a lot of
You
spots.
basically are you're basically taking relaxed deer, and they're no longer relaxed
Yes,
deer. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
So, okay, you want to take a break? I want to take a break and make a drink.
sure.
Okay. So we talked about you start taking 2 to 3 guys.
So
opener.
basically, I just bow hunted only, then added shotgun, then I dabbled on the opener.
And then, so when did you start? When did you start getting into October?
So
Because you're bringing in, what's the dates now?
so now I have 3 hunters. October 27th, which is the opener, 5 or 6 days.
September 27th.
Sorry, September 27th, 28, 29, 30. Is there 31?
Yeah, I think there's.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And so it's roughly done, October 3rd or 4th or somewhere through there. And then I have started, taking a couple people about the same as the opener. So basically, I kind of just go off the moon,
Yep.
the moon feed chart.
Yep.
And so basically, if the moon feed chart, if it'll peak 2 different times in October, and I just kind of go off of it, and basically on the climb of the evening activity or whatever, I just kind of just back off 5 days, and I'll hunt those.
Leading up to the full moon.
Yes.
So if there's 2 full moons in October, you're hunting both those lead ups in October,
No, I'm
or
saying
just the last one?
I'm hunting the so if it's October, there will be 2 spikes in the month.
2 spikes. Yep.
2 spikes in the month, and I will hunt both spikes.
You're gonna go from the full moon and you're gonna back up 5 to 7 days or whatever.
Correct, somewhere through there, and then I'm probably hunting then the dark the dark phase.
Okay.
Coming off of the full moon, and then I'll start hunting coming into the new moon.
So roughly, what are those dates? Those camps?
And it's roughly,
like what is it this year? Do you remember?
I'm going to say maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, something like that.
Are those good weeks?
And so last year was 2 and 2. Just did 2 people, and I think we killed 2 in the 180s. So I would say that's pretty
good.
Successful. Yeah.
So you went 2 for 4.
No, I mean another one
Oh, you're saying
Another one put an arrow in one, and I recovered it at a later date, and one didn't. So 3 for 4.
3 for
3
4.
for 4.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But based off of what, I mean, how does your tactics change?
So it's the same. We start out hunting evenings only at the time. But if it's cold, or if we see something, one of the 180s that we killed, I think it was 184, 185, clean 10, and
Wow.
big long tines. I think on his first day, he saw him come out an evening. Then by day 3 or 4, we had a wind change, and we was able to slide into a north wind stand, basically where we saw him coming from.
What was the wind before that? He didn't change.
So it was like a southwest wind on an evening only hunt. We saw him.
Okay.
We saw the deer. We saw where he came from.
Yep.
So then we had a northwest wind, and then we opted to hunt a morning, and we slid in, and we were kind of in line with where he came from,
So he was coming back.
He was coming back into bed in the morning.
Jesus. When did you hang
That stand was hung.
That stand was already hung.
That stand was hung. So it was basically a rut hunting stand that we were able to slide in, very low impact, up a hedgerow. And
were you in a little bit, or were you still on the edge?
In 40.
In 40? Yeah, because I was going to say he's close, right?
In 40. So he was basically in fields, and then coming through.
Probably just a few hundred yards out. I mean, you have to be
hitting some tree, rubbing some trees, following some does, coming in the morning.
Yeah, you're tippy-toeing in.
Yeah. Yep, you're tippy-toeing in.
So was that, this is maybe
and then the other one was on oaks.
Was on oaks eating acorns.
In an evening. Yep, on eating acorns in an evening. Yep, just in an oak flat.
So when it comes, in Ohio, when do you like to hunt oaks? If you do hunt oaks,
that's a good time.
That
October time or whatever. A lot of when you're not seeing deer in fields, they're on oaks.
Okay.
Or they're on oaks, and if there's a lot of does eating acorns, their bucks are going to be eating acorns and smelling, sniffing around the oaks.
Yep.
Yep.
So before I go any deeper with the question, when did you start so 25 years ago, you're hunting only the rut. When did you decide, how many years after did you start to add gun? Was it like 3 years?
I'm going to say 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
so
5
then
or 6 years.
When did you go?
Hunting.
So when did you say, okay, now I'm going to add?
And then I would say maybe another 2 or 3 years, then
opener.
Hunted the opener.
Okay, and then you say, wow, October looks good. When did you add October?
Man, that didn't really start till 5 or 6 years ago.
Really? So now we've talked
because I guess the mentality and the thinking was, there's these people coming October, the first camp's coming October 26th, October 27th, something like that, and you just simply didn't want to put pressure on things, is kind of the way.
Yeah.
Was the thinking. You just I didn't want to put pressure on stuff, but, not kind of knowing that, that it's kind of going on already.
Yeah, they're moseying around.
They're already.
They're moseying around.
Yeah. They're starting to do their selectively, especially if you're getting some cool temps, they're starting to do their thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're now transitioning, if it gets to be October and you're transitioning cameras to scrapes, and you're seeing that they're starting.
Yep. So when do you like to transition your opening season cameras to October scrapes?
I mean, once the opener is over,
The
pretty much
first
I'm
week.
trying to kill deer that first week and everything. After that, cameras are on plots and scrapes,
Plots and
plots
scrapes.
and scrapes.
Gotcha.
Because the little kill plots and the plots, deer are starting to sniff around them. They're starting to
Yep.
move towards the does.
Do those same cameras stay in their same roughly stay in their same position all the way through
So
November?
then through November,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So when did you start doing late season hunts?
Because I would pretty much, our muzzleloader kind of moved around a little bit in Ohio. I think our muzzleloader may have been like December the 28th, 29, 30 through there.
I always thought it was like the first week of November for some, or January for some reason. Like
It was
did.
in December at one
Okay.
time, and then for about the first some time now, it's pretty much been the first Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday in January for some time now. So, I mean, so I basically used to call it a wrap after about muzzleloader and back to work. And what I would do is I think I would run some cameras. If I had something to kill, I would then call people back or just check in with people and have people come if
That's
I
cool.
had something dialed in or whatever. But then once I sold my plumbing and heating company, and that's when I hunted a lot.
Yeah.
I did a lot of my hunting in January, and then kind of saw how good it could be in January and everything, and started hunting in January. But I see that what's really good is if it is so shotgun's over, whatever the December the 5th or
Whatever
4th or
that is.
somewhere
Yeah.
through there. And then if it gets into that December the teens and some cold weather hits, it can be really, really good. So in other words, the deer have ran and ran and ran and ran. They're down. We've talked about it, 50, 60 pounds.
Sure.
They're all ran down. So now if it is like single digits at night, December the 13th or 14th, they're kind of like in panic mode. Like they have to eat.
Yeah.
And then that's really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes that lands over that little 2-day gun that we have or whatever. I mean, it kind of seems like that's the weather pattern we've been in the last 4 or 5 years. We're like a little snow and cold up until about December the 5th, the 18th or 19th, and then they're riding their Harleys on Christmas Day, and then it's like
Right.
60.
I feel like
We have a little cold stint, and then it like seems to warm back up.
I
don't
remember
know.
specifically last year the 2-day gun was frigid. Wasn't that last year?
Yes.
The 2-day, and it's like felt like the last several years that little bump in there is like, oh my god, we're gonna have this terrible winter, and then it gets warm again.
Yeah,
But
that warms back up
those
again.
2-day gun season, if you're if you have the right spot, you could probably
Yeah.
be very successful.
It can be good. It can be good with them almost like panic feeding and stuff.
And you're at that point, I mean, for the average hunter, you're recommending being where during that, if it's say they don't have
On food, and it seems to be corn.
Seems to
Because
be.
what puts fat back on your body?
Yeah.
It seems to be the corn.
Corn pile, cornfield, corn, anything.
Seems to be corn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but then they kind of go through a little bit of I've done this a long time, and from that December the 20s till the end of January, they kind of go on a little bit of a transformation, and they almost kind of by the end of January they can kind of just shut themselves down. Like you think it's January the 20th and it's 0 out or below 0. You think that you're stick a fork in them, but they don't have to feed.
No.
They do not have to feed. They can. There is a point where they feel that there's less energy burn just curled up and staying put.
Yeah.
So it seems like that they go, and it really goes then towards the corn kind of goes away, and it's more about the standing soybeans and them soybeans, just easier digesting for them, and I mean, Yeah,
Yeah.
we're feeding late season, but it just seems like it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, they may hit it once in a week, or they might.
We ran cameras. I was trying to get my cousin Sean a deer last year when it was, remember how cold that was the last 2 weeks of the season, and it was exactly like you said. You're like, they have to feed, and
No, they don't.
they're not coming.
No.
And if they did come, it was like an hour after dark on
So
camera.
Tim Woods, he worked for a guy that raised deer for deer urine and everything, and they were up north, Akron, Cleveland direction, and you're like feeding the deer in a pen, in a pen. You're feeding deer, and when it got that cold, they wouldn't eat in the pen.
Yeah,
They just
that's interesting. I didn't. I
they
personally.
just they tuck their legs up under, and they just keep their core warm, and just hunker down when it's that cold. What you notice is when it's January, the teens, and if I do a couple guys for late season camp or whatever, the days that it warms up and the sun shines.
That's what I was about to say. You see,
our bucks like the sun.
that's why I was about to say, because I was gonna just say it seemed like it was like in January, late January, when it got warm, they were more apt to come than they were when it was like -10.
Yes.
Because we went through that cold spell last year where it was 0 to -10 for 2 weeks.
Now, sometimes when the temps are like that and it's a sunny, high pressure day, they may strap. It may be like 4 o'clock. You follow me? Like
Yeah.
it might be an hour and a half or 2 hours before dark. They might decide to get up and get a bite or whatever.
And I'm not blowing smoke here. I didn't know what you're saying. I didn't know this. And everything you're saying is correlating to what I saw last year, because we were trying to get it done, and I hadn't hunted late season in 10 years, and I was trying everything I could. And the days that we weren't hunting, where it was a little warmer in January, was when I was getting pictures. And the days where we were like, sitting out there and thinking we were going to die from hypothermia, nothing was happening, and some does and small bucks and stuff.
Yep. Now, it will. Oh, what was I going to say?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Now, so I had I had gotten permission for a church camp, and all excited and everything. Nobody had really hunted it, and I was running 5 or 6 Reconics. I don't even think I had cell cams at the time, and I was running, and there was probably 15 different bucks or something, and then all of a sudden it hit 0 for like 5 days. There were 0 buck pictures during those 4 or 5 days.
What do you think they're doing? They're just
holding
tight. They're just holding tight, conserving energy.
Now, that's not saying that they might not, if the sun comes out, they might not stand up, browse, and then lay back down or whatever. But I think that they just conserve more energy, keeping their core warm and everything.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So you really don't hunt even to this day. You don't bring in hunters past muzzleloader. That still is your cutoff.
I do one late season bow camp.
Okay, you do.
Yep, one late season bow camp, and then I just kind of
What's that date? Those
this
dates?
year's like January 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, right through there. So basically, if muzzleloader is over January the 6th or 7th, then there's about almost a 2-week stretch of just kind of feeding and running cameras.
That probably is correct me if I'm wrong, is that your riskiest camp? I mean, is that could be your best or your worst camp?
Correct. It's kind of a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a roll of the dice. It can be, you're stuck with what's left.
I love listening to him crack the bush lights. Go ahead.
You're stuck with what's left, but it can also be, you could be a few strangers show up here or there.
So that's what I wanted to ask. If you kill in early season, if you're on a property and you kill your target buck early season or opener, what happens to that property?
I mean, I have properties that I'll shut down if there's nothing but 3.5-year-olds there that I don't want to kill on a, 50-acre parcel. Now, with that said, I'm running cameras, and we're probably popping in there during the rut.
I guess my question is like I've always heard you kill the man, another man potentially moves in. Does that
Yeah.
does that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, does it happen? Is it 50% of the time?
Yeah.
25?
I don't
Does it
know
just
no number. It
happen?
just happens. Yes.
One thing I wish that you would have kept track of. What do you think your most out of the average? Let's say in the last 5 years. That's an easier question. What's your most successful week over the last 5 years of hunting? Opener, October, rut, late season, muzzleloader.
We've talked about I
The end of
feel,
October.
I kind of like, you know,
You saying kind of like
October,
means that you're killing the most deer during.
if it's cold, if it's cool, end
Yeah.
of October to November the 7th or 8th.
So
Somewhere right through there, it can be
and
really good.
and that
if it's-
correlates to your hunter group too. I mean, not just you personally of what you like. That correlates to the
that
numbers
correlates to the success of it can get it gets to that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 through there. It can get a little tough. It can be, it's, what we used to think was an October law is a November law.
Yeah, it's almost once again, it's probably like you either go 5 for 5 or you go 1 for 5.
Then
And
it's
like
patience. And what's funny is a group will think it is just on the verge when they're leaving, and they'll say, "Oh, the next camp's going to kill it," and then the next camp, it's
Yeah.
it's very, very weather dependent.
Yeah.
Very weather dependent.
I so I know we're in Ohio, but like do you think the dates that you just said, do they correlate maybe to like Indiana as well?
Yeah.
Do they correlate to what other states do you think they kind of like northern Kentucky? Do you think it kind of correlates to northern Kentucky or no? Or
Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania? I mean, kind of in that grouping.
Yeah.
Southern Michigan.
Illinois.
Yeah. Illinois, we're kind of
Yep.
all in that
Yep.
same.
Iowa. Pretty much whenever like I said, Rob Scott, whenever we talk or whatever, it's basically a day delay. When he tells me something, it's the next day
Really?
here. Yeah.
That's cool.
When
Kind
he
of
tells me something, it's the next day here. And it's basically all with, what's great is a week when it's just a roller coaster of fronts. When it's like, it's certain weather Monday, Tuesday, a front rolls through Wednesday, and then just seems that fronts is what really kind of makes
Right.
it.
right.
But from that October 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, from there, there's a doe. It seems like there's a doe in here or there the entire time. And the intensity of it is based on the weather. And if it's warm during the day, it goes on at night.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. If it's good temperatures, you see more action during the day.
Yeah.
But and sometimes it seems like it trickles along and a doe comes in. Whenever a whole bunch of does come in at one time, and all you're seeing is a little 1.5 and 2.5 running around, there's kind of a doe for everybody,
Right.
but if it seems like if maybe one pops here, one pops there, and then there's more.
Right.
Whenever you start seeing broken tines everywhere or whatever, there's a lot going on at night, and it's they're having having at it. Yeah.
So, kind of my last question before we wrap up this episode is, can you explain to somebody the way that you think about moon phases and how it correlates to how you make decisions on your dates?
It seems that if a full moon is October 17th, it just seems like those days leading into it. So basically, I would probably be hunting
13th.
11, 12, whatever, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
You're
leading
hunting
into
the week
it.
before.
Yes.
And
yes.
then over the years you've seen the full moon past is just not.
Yeah, so if it hits November and it's a full moon on November the 5th, you need to be hunting at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, you need to be hunting through there.
Say those dates again.
I'm just saying that if
Or just say what you just said again.
If the full moon is on November the 5th or the 6th or the 7th or whatever, I mean, we don't hunt no differently than once it's on or whatever. You just need to be, I mean, once it hits November, that November time frame, I mean, most of our kills are like 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Most of our kills are 10 to 2. We've talked about that. I mean, you know, mornings are, I think you're better off to go get in your tree at,
9,
yeah,
8:30.
8:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
For guys that can't sit all day, I would rather take them out at 8:30 and pick them up at 1:30 or whatever. Hunt that time stretch.
Yes. But what is the moon? What is the moon doing to the? And speaking about October,
They say, I mean, that same study that you're talking about, they say the moon has nothing to do with it.
Well, I don't care what the study says.
That's what they say.
I'm asking Joel Snow, the successful outfitter.
I mean, I think the moon has a lot to do with it, in my opinion. But
what do you think that moon in October? Let's talk about October.
October, okay.
We're talking about full moons.
So I'm saying that I feel that there isn't necessarily 2 full moons in October. That doesn't happen very often. I mean, sometimes, but if there's a full moon, October the 10th, if there's a full moon October the 10th, I feel that 3-4 days before that there's some does coming in. There's some does going to start coming in on that full moon.
And you're just saying, just from what you've seen over the years, you're just saying that's what you've seen happen.
The does come into heat by their orbital gland and the length of daylight in a day. That's what brings them in. That's what brings them into heat. The same person that I was talking about, Richard, he would be showing deer in the summer at a fair or whatever, and have flaps on the tents and shutting the tents flaps and everything, and the deer would come into heat
because it was
in the summer and stuff.
Because it was darker during the day.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. I think we had talked about that early on, and me even personally, I didn't quite understand that again. So that's why I was kind of asking for a.
Yeah. So just the amount of daylight decreasing or whatever as it's coming into that time brings, definitely does coming into heat on that first moon cycle.
Yep. Okay. Nope, makes sense. Was there, before we kind of jump off the episode as a whole, was there anything about I had kind of a fun question I wanted to ask. Gun season, I'm sure with gun hunting and being in the outfitting business, gun hunters in general, have you ever had any weirdness or anything happen?
Gun hunters are definitely different than the bow hunters. That's for
well,
dang
I
sure.
mean, like even like gun hunters, like you have a guy in a stand during gun week, and somebody comes trudging through the or like, I mean, because there's a lot of people in the woods during gun season. Have you ever had anything?
Yeah, you definitely just hold your breath on getting calls from people, and or it gets daylight and they can see somebody in orange 100 yards away, or
right.
I mean,
has anything like bad? I mean,
I hate gun season.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
has anything bad? Like, has any like?
I pretty much know where to go and not go.
Yeah,
and everything
based
now.
off of what's going on. Nothing bad.
But it's easy. I mean, I have a good group, and they've all hunted a long time together, and it's.
Where do you set the gun hunters during gun season?
Where?
Yeah, like, I mean, what kind of?
Where I think we're going to kill a big deer. I mean,
I know that, but I mean, what's your strategy during gun season? Because that's a very unique week.
Yes,
for
it is.
you, I'm sure it's very unique.
Mornings. I mean, there could be spots that I know a good deer is, and if I think there are people hunting on neighboring properties, I might not even risk it and go in there in the morning. Follow me?
Yeah, you want him to.
I don't want to bump that deer to somebody else.
Right.
So we might just wait to it get 8:30, 9 o'clock. I can see, I can glass, and then the person goes in for the rest of the day.
But you're putting them where? Are you putting them in the woods, out of the woods, on the edge? Or are you putting them over food? Or
if I'm A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I mean, if I, at that time, I'm probably now feeding some and standing crops. So, yeah, we'll probably. I mean, I try to be low impact at that time. I'm probably not pounding in there real far now.
Are you guys successful during gun week? I mean, how many hunters are you bringing in?
I mean, if there's 5 people here during gun week, they usually all kill.
Are you serious? Really? Wow. And it's
I
not
think
like
I think last year there was one guy left at the end, and I think the year before everybody killed, and so yeah.
it's not like they're like a deer's running. Is it ever like a deer's running through because they sometimes
No.
it's because
No.
of you strategically set them
No,
up.
if
I'm sure
it's-
sometimes lucky stuff happens, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sometimes lucky,
Lucky
stuff
stuff
happens,
happens.
but with that said, I mean, it's still. I mean,
You're hunting it like archery.
yeah, we might still go in tight on a funnel and archery hunt, like we're archery hunting or whatever. Yeah.
My view, I'm asking as a bow hunter that it's been a long time since I've hunted gun.
Right.
But like my view has always been I'm not going into the woods, even if it's a property that I only have permission for, because I just don't think it's
Right.
I just don't know
And
what
most of these guys show up with 2 different guns. They might have a gun in a timber set, and then they'll have a little bit longer range gun for an evening set or whatever on a field.
I was getting at. Like I don't go into the woods because I think it's all boogered up. But it sounds like you're still. Are you?
I mean, we'll pinch in a little bit for a morning set to where you're not full intrusion, but yet they can shoot 120 yards through some timber or something like that. Yeah.
Right. You have a general idea of
Yeah.
where he's and you're so
Yep.
when they're gun hunting, statistically, I mean, over the last, let's say 5 years, do they get it done earlier or do they get it done?
It's usually not first thing in the morning. It's usually
I meant in the week. Like, does it
no,
matter?
We're usually tagged out by day 3 or something
Day
like that.
3.
And it seems like hunting the way we do, very cautiously and very like we're bow hunting. My properties kind of fill up through the week from pressure and from other
That makes
pressure.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, anymore it seems like, drive around and there aren't many vehicles around on Tuesday and Wednesday in Ohio.
Right.
I mean,
Not even on the weekend.
no, drive around on November 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
They're
and
everywhere.
there's cars at every lot. But come gun season, most people might take the first day of vacation and then everybody goes back to work.
So that's kind of like, that is the tail end of the rut. So
it depends upon you could start seeing a little bit of secondary rut action. I mean, anymore, there can be a doe come in at any time. You'll definitely see we'll kill during that time, during gun week, and it still be get killed because of a doe.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess that that's the kind of I'm trying to get to those kinds of answers because in my head I'm like I'm not going out during gun season, but listening to you, if I need to, maybe it's a good opportunity to strategically hunt the same spot that I've been hunting the same way I think it's going to hunt, because things are still happening.
And if it's somewhat cold in the evenings, and they're hungry or whatever, they might be pounding food during the evenings on shotgun week. So
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, hang on.